Celery, the outcast of the vegetable kingdom. It's bitter, difficult to chew on, and it has a weird, salty aftertaste. It's so mundane that if you're not allergic, you probably never really think about it. You'd rather forget about it. So, how did this vegetable make its way to be served in the Titanic's first-class cabin in its own fancy celery vase? Hey everyone, I'm Gabi Winkler, and you are watching Eatymology. Today we are going to talk about one of the world's unanimously hated vegetables, celery. The Apium graveolens is a root vegetable that ancient Romans couldn't die and modern time hipsters cannot live without. After all, it has negative calories, right? Well, hate to bust this urban myth. Even though celery stalks can be healthy snacks, this fun fact is actually not true. The celery plant belongs to the Apiaceae herb family. This family is more commonly known as the celery, carrot or parsley family. The herbs in this family are flavorful and aromatic, and they have prominent members like fennel, parsley and chervil. Wild celery is native to the Mediterranean area, and archaeological discoveries suggest that humans were using celery seeds as early as 4000 BC. But ancient celery enthusiasts were probably not too much fond of its taste, rather than of its medical properties. People in Egypt, Rome and China used the wild plant as an antidote against the intoxicating effects of wine and the following headache. And of course, it was considered an aphrodisiac. Yes, 2-in-1, impotency and hangover cure. Perfect! Sadly, there's no medical proof that celery helps with either. The modern name of the plant comes from its believed potency-raising properties. It was named after Silenus, a drunk and lustful satyr in Greek mythology. He was the leader of the satyrs, as well as the teacher and companion of Dionysus. The association of this satyr with celery emphasizes the plant's use as a potency-raising substance. Again, no scientific proof there. Sorry. But celery didn't only play an important role in the life of impotent Greeks. It was also the symbol of victory and strength. Winners of athletic events in ancient Greece were presented with bunches of celery, much like as flowers are given today. This tradition came from the myth of the death of Opheltes. According to legend, the nurse of the infant prince Opheltes lay him on a bed of wild celery. A serpent came by and killed the baby. Warriors then founded the Nemean Games in his honor, and the victor's wreath was made from celery. Not only the Greeks saw the connection between celery and death, ancient Egyptians used wild celery in their funerals. Gallons of celery have been found in some early Egyptian tombs. In the 1st century, the Roman recipe collection called Apicius, also known as the De Re Culinaria, celery stalks, roots and seeds were widely used in most recipes. Ancient Romans loved this stuff, although they sometimes mixed it up with parsley. Not so much the Christians, who still associated the plant with the underworld, since it was still used as decoration at funerals. The association of celery with death even entered the lexicon. The phrase "distai selinon," or to need celery, didn't mean that the subject needed to eat more vegetables. It meant someone was close to death. As centuries passed, celery still suffered from its bad reputation. It somewhat caused a split medieval mindset. It had a reputation for its aphrodisiac qualities and being the herald of death. In some German dialects it was called Geilwurz or Stehsalat. A 15th century German medicine handbook gives the following advice. Then if you want your wife to love you above all other men, take some celery juice, crushed and blended with honey, and apply it to the testicles. That will make her love none other above you. In Prussia they hung up celery stalks in pig stalls to protect them from witches, and they put celery roots in shoes to bring good luck. According to the Renaissance Italian scholar Giambattista della Porta, medieval witches and sorcerers used celery to fly to their sabbats, and of course to have the strength to participate in the orgies. Regardless of its shady reputation, celery maintained its allure to the lustful. In the 18th century, Madame Pompadour, official chief mistress of French King Louis XV, and Giacomo Casanova swore by celery and truffle soup washed down with hot chocolate. By the 19th century, celery stalks became highly sought after, a symbol of one's status and wealth. The reason behind this is that celery cultivation began in the early 1800s in the cool, damp wetlands of East Anglia. It was fussy to grow and difficult to obtain, and this made it irresistible to the Victorian upper classes. Between the 1830s and the early 1900s, celery appeared as a standalone dish in countless cookbooks and housekeepers' guides. The celery craze had begun. No dinner in the Victorian period was complete without a side of celery. For most of the 19th century, celery was perceived as a high-status food and occupied a prominent position on the dining table. People were so obsessed with the stuff, they even created a special serving vase for celeries. Celery vases were the most popular from the 1830s to the 1880s. Later they got bored of the vases and started serving celery on flat glass dishes. As Dutch farmers who knew how to handle wetlands began growing the vegetable in large quantities, the celery mania reached its peak at the end of the 19th century. The stalks quickly lost their appeal to the wealthy. For some time, celery was considered a boring vegetable, until a new wave medical medium, Anthony William, the self-proclaimed father of the global celery movement, started preaching the healer powers of celery juice in his book back in 2015.
You have started this total phenomenon. Congrats!
According to William, a spiritual source told him the benefits of celery juice when he was 4 years old. Today, he has 3.9 million followers on Instagram.
Celery actually has negative calories, right? So you use more calories consuming it than what's actually in it.
Well, you know, when you're chewing celery, probably because you're doing more work for it.
Many nutritionists and dietitians say that although the healing potential of celery sounds promising, it is mostly wishful thinking. We are better off eating the stalks, so at least we won't lose out on the valuable fiber. As we have seen it throughout human history, celery has come a long way from a deadly aphrodisiac, a substance that makes witches fly, or something that protects us from bad spirits, to a superfood that cures cancer or eases backaches. It has been the food of the wealthy and the food of the impotent. I let you decide which healing properties of celery you believe in. Let me know in the comments. In the next episode, we are going to talk about another thought to be boring veg, lettuce, which has an even more lecherous history. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. I make these videos totally alone, so any support you can give me, I highly appreciate it. If you want to help me to grow the channel, please subscribe here and share my videos on your socials. Thank you.